I always tell people that if you don't like what I have to say or don't say, that's not my problem. Conversely, if I don't like what you say, it's not necessarily your problem. Well, if I don't like what you say and stand for, then I'm going to start talking about it on this program. Then it will be your problem. But this is ridiculous. You know, we can go ahead and teach about Islam and take kids on tours and field trips to Islamic holy places here in this country, but we can't, have a live nativity scene because it will be seen to be as endorsing the holiday, which is Christmas, by the way. Not holiday. Look, I've already been over this. I don't know how many times with the left. It's not Jesus' birthday, and there are a lot of other holidays around this time of year, and they just took and the Christians just took over a pagan holiday. Look, I get all of that. But it's all irrelevant. It is the reason for the season is Christmas. That is the way it has always been. Well, not always, but, since the country was founded and blah, blah, blah. But the reason for the season simply is celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ in human form. God becomes a man here on this planet. That is the reason for the season. If there is no Christmas, if you don't want to have it Christmas, if you don't want to include Christmas, if you don't want to say Christmas, if you don't want to include Jesus and, baby Jesus and birthday Jesus and all that kind of stuff, fine. I don't have a problem with that. But you know what? You don't get a paid holiday. Schools don't close. You go to work. When I bring that up to especially the liberals, they get all puffy. Oh, no. Well, to other religions and to other celebrations, this was not a high holy day. So there is no other religion that looks at Christmas Day, December 25th, as some high holy day where everybody's out celebrating. No place on earth. Not back then or today. They didn't take a day off or a week off to celebrate December 25th or around December 20th. It didn't happen. So if you're of that genre who thinks that Christmas should become a holiday, then fine. You don't get the day off. We get rid of all this. We can get rid of all the governmental and the private sector holiday that has to do with Christmas, and nobody gets the day off. Kids are in school. Oh, but you don't want to do that. No. Liberals, and I say that, and I point out why, they have a fit. Oh, you can't do that. That's not right, Rod. No. Christmas is a Christian holiday. We can do with it as we please. And we choose to say Merry Christmas and have the baby Jesus and nativity scenes. And if you're going to say that a nativity scene, as you've tried to co-opt Christmas over the past 50 years, if you think that a nativity scene now all of a sudden is endorsing Christianity, fine. And you want to get rid of Christianity in Christmas, fine. You just don't get Christmas will now become like Hanukkah. Jews don't get Hanukkah off. Doesn't matter if they celebrate it. They don't get 8 days off. Obviously, Hanukkah falls. A couple of the days of Hanukkah is obviously going to be on a weekend, so they get the weekends off. But they don't get 8 days off for Hanukkah. So you're not going to get 1 or 2 days off for Christmas, Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Forget it. Frankly, I think that's what we Christians should do. We should just say, no. To be un-Christian, just say, screw you, screw your political correctness. Fine. We'll rescind the holiday for you. And we'll just be like Jews and we'll celebrate it that way. It'll be a private, because Hanukkah really is a private Jewish holiday. So we're going to make Christmas a private holiday. That way you cannot tell us what we can and cannot do with it. Plain and simple. Just take it back, folks. If you're a Christian, take back your holiday. Do not let these Neanderthals, these anti-Christian idiots, leftist, PC, politically correct Neanderthal idiot troglodytes determine how you celebrate your holiday. It's yours, not theirs. Look, they can go and invent a new holiday if they want. That's what some Black Panthers did back in the late 60s, early 70s, and they called it Kwanzaa. They can do that if they want. They can go and join the pagans and celebrate the various number of different pagan rituals around the winter solstice. Again, it's not a major holiday for pagans because they have 4 of them. Well, they've got the summer solstice and the winter solstice. There's 2, and they've got the equinox in the spring and in the fall. Not major holidays for those groups. Just saying. So this whole notion that we need to start, look, the kids just should do it anyway. What are they going to do? Arrest them? The kids should just do it anyway. Think about it. Do you want to be the judge who's sending out the police to arrest people for portraying a nativity scene? Now, think about the optics of that for a second. You're going to arrest kids, children, teenagers who are not robbing anybody, who are not being a gang or bullying anybody, who are not causing trouble anywhere or trouble for anybody. They're on a stage acting like civilized human beings, they should be acting as a pre-adult on their way to adulthood, and all they're doing is just standing around portraying the nativity that we've come to know as the nativity, and they're doing it peacefully, not causing any trouble. And you got probably some people around there most of them are probably Christian, and they enjoy looking at this scene. And again, these teenagers are not causing any trouble. I would like to see a judge say, go arrest all those kids, all those teenagers, for portraying a nativity scene when I said that they couldn't. Good luck with that one. Sometimes you just have to, when something is wrong and it violates the Constitution and your rights like that, you have to defy the courts because because remember, we the people are the government. We are the government. Not those individuals that think that they know better and are better than the rest of us. No, we are the government. We decide in the end what is and what is not. And if we as a people decide we're going to have a nativity scene, then no police officer should interfere, because they're not there to enforce the law. They're there to uphold the law, and the law of the land is the Constitution. Let me be very clear about that. And the Constitution specifically states that we the people are the government. Not the 36 people down in Washington, D.C., not the people in your state house, not the governor, but we the people. The citizenry. We're the government. So in reality, when you have something or somebody in government that goes against the Constitution, the public, the people, have every right, God-given right and constitutionally protected right, to resist and say no. Because we're the government, not you. But you can only do that as a group. One person can't just stand up there and say, well, I'm not going to do it. Well, then they can bring the hammer down on you. But on an entire community, on an entire group, not going to happen. Look, they tried that, in that we still got civil rights. We didn't need civil rights, but, because somebody decided that they were the government, they were going to decide for everybody else what the government was going to do. But people back then decided, no, we're the government, And we're going to make sure that we're not going to change things. We're just going to make sure that you uphold the Constitution. And in order for them to uphold the Constitution, somebody suggested, well, maybe we should just have civil rights and, clarify what the Constitution says. That's we the people, not government. Not what some people construed as government. We the people who govern ourselves decided that civil rights was necessary to clarify the Constitution. That was something that was already there. You have freedom of religion. It does not matter where you exercise that freedom. You get to do it. You get to have a peaceful demonstration of your religious beliefs, and it is constitutionally protected. And just because you are on so-called government property, and government property is nothing but public property, and just because you're on public property does not mean that those who work for the government are endorsing your particular religion. Having these kids perform nativity scene on Christmas does not constitute the government is endorsing a particular religion. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Oh, you can't put a Christmas tree or a menorah or a nativity scene on government property. Yes, I can, because it's my property. And just because I put up a tree there doesn't mean that if I put up a cross on public land, it does not mean that the government is endorsing that cross. Well, Rod, we can't put up every religious symbol that everybody wants to put up. Why not? The government isn't endorsing it. And we seem to think that it's okay to have mosques pop up everywhere. By the way, speaking of mosques, France just shut down 3 of them. Where is that story? Bum, 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 bum. I got so much here in my paper pile. Sometimes stuff gets lost. It's in there somewhere. France just shut down 3 mosques. Now, in the United States, it's a little bit more difficult to do that, but here's how we do it. If they're in there preaching hate and terrorist activity, and they're fomenting people to join terrorist groups, then that's not a religion anymore. That's supporting terrorist activity, and yes, it can be shut down. Because otherwise, you can't shut down a religious. I know people saying, well, it's Islam, man. No, it's still a religion, and the Constitution gives these people the protection, equal protection, just like a Christian, a Jew, a pagan, what have you, to practice their religion. But Rod, you know what the Quran says. I know what the Quran says. But that's the point. If they begin to preach jihadism, which then recruits people to become jihadists and become terrorists and to commit acts of terror, well, not only can you shut them down, you can also charge them with crimes, including the imams or the priest. It can be done. You don't get to have human sacrifice in this country. Satanists might say, well, we have human sacrifices in it. Well, no, you don't get to do that. That's called murder. So there are some obvious restrictions on religious freedom. You don't get to commit murder in the name of religion. You don't get to foment crimes in the name of religion. Crimes against humanity. That would be terrorism. If you do that, you should be shut down. And it looks like France thought the same thing about these 3 mosques. Because when it came down to it, France said, you know what? We've already been through this once. We're not going through this again. You're shut down.